Hi, my name is Nunziata, and I'm a New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film. I'm also a proud FENIX Global Artist Ambassador. Today, I am thrilled to be speaking with my friend, an award-winning composer and Billboard charting music producer, Roman Molino Dunn. Roman wears so many hats in this business. He owns a world-renowned recording studio, MIRRORTONE Studios in New York City. Under the name ELECTROPOINT, he's an award-winning music producer, and on top of that, he has scored award-winning films and television shows. His film work includes HURACÁN on HBO, Kid Correspondent on YouTube Originals, All Hail BETH on BRIC TV, and the cult classic LGBTQIA feature film Bear City 3. As a music producer under the name ELECTROPOINT, he has worked with Grammy-winning artists, and his productions and soundtracks have climbed both the Billboard and iTunes Top 20 charts. I am thrilled to have worked with him as an artist as well. And I have to say, he's simply the best. And I am thrilled to speak with him right now. Well, hello, Roman. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, my friend. Good to see you. You're in Los Angeles?
I am. I'm in Hollywood right now.
You're making it happen, my friend. Well, listen, you wear a lot of hats, but three in particular that I want to lean into is, and correct me if I'm wrong, you own a recording studio, you're a film and television music composer, and you're a record producer.
You got it right. Yeah, I wear those three hats.
Now, before we get into the three hats to confuse you even more, I want to go backwards, and I want to talk about Roman, the boy with a dream of being a part of it, New York, New York, or in your case right now, Hollywood, Hollywood. I know that you are bi-coastal. Where did you grow up, and when did you know that music was going to be a career choice for you?
Sure. So I grew up in kind of the polar opposite of a big city. I grew up in a very small town in Pennsylvania in the mountains called Kunkletown. Even just saying it, it gives me the giggles sometimes when I'm talking about, what I do now. Yeah, I don't know. I think very, very early on, I started taking piano lessons when I was 4, and I was, I wouldn't say I was emulating, but I was inspired by my brother, who was a really great pianist. And so I saw him playing the piano. And when I was real young, I begged my parents to let me do it as well. And the rest is history, as they say.
I love it. Well, what I also love so much about what you do, Roman, is that you unapologetically wear these three hats. But whereas in some people's cases, sometimes it's very confusing about which hat you're wearing when you're a very organized person in how you've delineated your businesses. Let's go one at a time though.
Sure.
Let's talk first about MIRRORTONE Studios, where that is and how that came about for you.
Sure. So MIRRORTONE Studios is a recording studio in New York City. It's in Midtown. It's on between 6th and 7th Avenues on 29th Street. So if you're not familiar with Manhattan, it's where maybe 2 blocks from Penn Station would be a landmark most people would recognize. So that came about because, well, it's kind of a long story how it came about, but it was organic. Basically, I was working as a music producer and arranger. And I was taking.
By the way, that's just my dog, but she likes to be a part of the interview sometimes. But keep going, Roman.
Oh, that's great.
Keep going.
Yeah, sure. I'll address her questions next. Oh, she's great. Yeah. So Oh, hey Bella. Nice to meet you.
Keep going, Roman.
Sure. So yeah, MIRRORTONE's in Manhattan. They came about kind of organically, like I said. I started with a business partner, Jay Rothman, he wears 3 hats just like I do. And I was bringing clients to studios all around the city. So I was doing the freelance music producer thing. And it turned out after a while, it would make a whole lot more sense just to find a business partner and start a studio. We could make more money. It would be more efficient. We had been investing our time and money into other people's studios, so we had all this equipment and clientele. So we formed MIRRORTONE, and it was about 10 years ago, actually, this year, that we started that. Yeah, so that's MIRRORTONE.
That's amazing. Well, listen, what I also love about what you do with your record producer hat on as part of ELECTROPOINT, that's the name of your record producing arm of the Roman Molino Dunn business, correct?
Yeah, it's a pseudonym I use for when I'm producing for commercial recording artists.
I love that you not only have worked with Grammy-winning artists, but that you that you work with the independent artists. And I know with the FENIX app, they really lean into those independent artists who, you know, are just trying to make it day to day, but you really celebrate that. Not only Grammy-winning independent artists, but you've really found a niche within the LGBTQIA communities, and also drag queens. Can you talk about how that came about for you?
Yeah, yeah. Again, just a whole organic evolution, so to speak. You know, once I started the recording studio, anybody who called up, you know, was able to pay for the recording studio, we would record. And then a lot of times that led into doing other things for these individuals, not just recording, but producing songs for them. And then that led to writing songs for them. And very early on, I can't remember when, but I did a song for a drag queen named Mimi I'm First, who was on season 2 of Drag Race. And it did well, and Mimi and I got along really well, and she referred me to another drag queen named Sherry Vine, who is like a New York legend. And she introduced me to tons of people that wanted to record music. And what happened was Drag Race came out, you know,
And by
not
the
too
way,
long
for
after.
those of you who don't
Yeah,
know, he's doing the short version of RuPaul's Drag Race. In case
yeah,
Ru's
sorry.
watching, I just don't
Yeah.
want to disappoint her. Keep going.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I'm talking about RuPaul's Drag Race, and a lot of these people in New York who were just recording eventually made their way onto the shows and then needed more songs because their careers were taking off. And I kind of made a bit of a niche because some of those songs did really well, and people came to me specifically for drag songs, if you will. And there's a lot of crossover between the drag world and just a larger LGBTQIA world. And it's all music, it's all great artists, and I'm happy to have been a part of it.
Well, I love that, Roman, and also it speaks to who you are as a human, right? And this idea that music is universal, and that whomever is singing it, in however they're singing it, it's a language that's worthy to be heard. And I kind of like what FENIX is doing too. Well, not kind of, I really do. That they're not precious to just one type of artist, that they cast a wide net, that an artist is an artist. And okay, so that was the second arm of the three-pronged Roman Molino Dunn business. But now I want to talk about this film and TV scoring. And if you've had any special projects during quarantine that you've been working on, and also some that you've done in the past that you really enjoyed doing.
Yeah, sure. So both. Yeah, I mean, the film scoring thing it's one reason I used a pseudonym originally when I was doing a lot of the RuPaul's Drag Race work, just so that the directors I was working with didn't think I could only make you know, EDM songs or pop tracks for artists, but you know, I have a classical music background. So I use my given name for that, kind of delineate the difference. And yeah, quarantine's been very I don't want to say quarantine's been good. I mean, it's been a hard time for humanity, but there's a lot of content being made. And actually, during the course of the pandemic, I've had a film released on HBO Max that I'm pretty excited about. It's called HURACÁN. And it came out during quarantine, and it was a film that was very good for me personally because there was a lot of music and it got a lot of attention in that
Wow. And
field.
by the way, can people still find that on HBO Max?
Oh yeah, no, it's on HBO Max. You can watch it whenever, you know, if you have
Tonight, Bella
HBO.
and I are
Yeah,
going to watch it.
there you go. Yeah, well, you might want to cover your eyes occasionally. There's some adult topics, some violence.
She's a puppy,
Um,
Roman. She only is allowed Disney Plus type material, but maybe we'll make an
there you go.
exception for Uncle Roman, but keep going.
Yeah, yeah. So that was good. Well, I also did a family-friendly series as well. I did a series for YouTube Originals called Kid Correspondent, and it came out right when the election was happening. Um,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was pretty much just YouTube Originals is like, you know, their network arm of YouTube, and
Yep.
they wanted to do something for children that um, kind of helped them understand what adults were doing when they were debating politics.
Hmm.
But it would be a perfect show for Bella to watch. The music is the
She
total
perked up.
opposite.
Did you see her perk up?
Oh, she knows her name, I'm sure.
Or that, Roman. Sorry, that's my delusion. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. But yeah, you could check it out. Those two projects were really fun during quarantine because all we had was our art during this time,
That's right.
like, and to that degree, it was a really great time to interact with consumers of art. So a lot of times I'm in the studio working with artists specifically, and a lot of times their music isn't always reaching the largest possible audience. And I think that during this time when people have been home and exploring different ways of consuming media, it's been a really good time to actually reach listeners and viewers.
Mm.
So it's been good for that part of my business, but
Yeah.
artistically as well.
That's amazing. Look at Roman. I mean, I could speak to you for hours. I've worked with you as an
Yeah.
artist. You are the best, my friend. But
Thank you.
I'm excited that you're coming on board to FENIX as an artist too, because I can't wait for the world to also more of the world. The world is already listening to your craft and what you do as an artist, but not only to expand, potential collaborations, but potential people who love the type of art that you create. And I'm so grateful to call you a friend, and I'm so grateful for you taking time out to speak with me today.
Yeah, absolutely. Likewise. It really is my pleasure.
Thanks, Roman. Bella says bye.
All right. So long, Bella.
Bye.
In the digital age, artists and bands struggle to make a living. In fact, only a small number of artists can live off their craft. For the 98% of artists that don't have the luxury of being signed to a label, it's tough. But artists deserve to live off their art. Wherever you are around the world, appreciation of music does not change. FENIX brings bands and their fans together, whilst allowing bands to properly monetize their passion. The FENIX app will directly connect bands and fans with no need for middlemen. We're utilizing the blockchain to give the power back to the artist once and for all. Join FENIX, join the change.